Hello and welcome to Buddha and the Coach vlog powered by Soul Performance Academy. I am your host, Dan Mickle. The Buddha and the Coach is a weekly vlog focused on looking at the teaching of the Buddha in a coaching light. The Buddha and the Coach is proud to be sponsored by ICN Athletics. ICN Athletics makes the extraordinary ordinary through adaptive beach volleyball. Everyone should have the opportunity to enjoy and excel at this sport, and ICN offers the programs and educations to make it normal for adapted athletes to play on any court. Help them make beach volleyball court a place for everybody. For more information or to donate to their 501c3, please visit icnathletics.com. It's called Normal Athletics at icnathletics.com. And thank you to John and Dave and everyone involved at ICN for their continued support and all the great stuff that they are doing with our adaptive athletes and in beach volleyball. All right, on to this week's lesson. Lesson 16 is, it's a man's own mind, not his enemy or foe, that lures him to evil ways. Let's try that again. It's his man's own mind, not his enemy or foe, that lures him to evil ways. And I absolutely love this lesson because there's so many ways that we can apply this to what we do as a coach. The biggest takeaway that I get from this is way too many times we put stock in what other people are doing or what other teams are doing, what other coaches are doing, and that tends to hold us back. And it's actually us. It's our brain, it's our mind, it's our hearts that are holding us back. We put it off and say that we can't do this, we can't succeed because of some external factor, but in essence, it's our own motivation, our own drive, our own love, our own kindness that's holding us back. So we need to start looking at what are we doing that's holding us back. Instead of looking at what is opponent A, B, or C doing that's stopping us, what are we doing that's stopping us? Maybe we're not focused enough in practice. Maybe we're not planning things out correctly. Now, again, that's not to say that opponents do things that work and do things that kind of hold us back. But when it comes down to the root of it, most of the time, it's our own mental blocks or our own physical blocks that are those hurdles. And too many times we ignore them. We put blinders on it. We think just going into the gym and working hard or just making sure that we fill those 2 hours that we have allotted for practice today means that we deserve something. That's because we are conditioned to think that hard work equals greater rewards. Now, hard work is part of it. But just because we're working hard doesn't mean that we're going to get what we need. We have to work smart. We have to work strategically. We have to map. We have to plan. We can't just go in and practice to practice. We have to go in with purpose. And that is our enemy. Ambiguity. Lack of clarity. Lack of focus, lack of vision. Those are what lures us to the evil ways of not producing and not working. And I think in this actual teaching, in the context that the Buddha is looking at, is that it's not when people do bad things and convince us to do bad things that is the actual evil way. It's the fact that we don't stop it. We don't say no. We don't adjust. We don't go down the righteous path. And I know that can get a little crazy. What does that have to do with coaching and how we work? But it's all the same thing. Too many times we look at what another program is doing, another team is doing, and we stop looking at what we are doing. We stop training what makes us great and what makes us successful, and we start to train about what is going to stop the other team. And there's a big difference there. Sure, we plan and, whatever sport you're in, you look at who you're going to play and what weaknesses they have and how you can exploit that. But I think too many times we put way too much focus on another team's weaknesses and not enough emphasis on your own strengths, because your own strengths are what going to drive you to better success. Now, sometimes we get lucky and they line up. Our strengths match their weaknesses. So it makes perfect sense. But way too many times, we try and become and train something that we are not to try to exploit something on another team. It's not effective. Where we could have spent that time working on what we know is true, what our strengths are to get there. We need to work on our own mind and not focus on what's going on in our enemy's mind, if we're taking it in the context of what the Buddha said. But that is why I love this lesson. Because it reminds me all the time that I need to focus on what we are, who we are. Now, that may change over time. If you're with a program for a long time, maybe you're very offensive for like 3 years, and then all of a sudden you start to become defensive as a team. That's not to say those things don't change. We're not permanent in who and what we are. But what I'm saying is we have to be true to what we are in that moment. If this year you're an offensive team, then that's what you need to focus on. Sure, you'll train some and work on the defensive side of things, but when it comes down to it, when you really need it, you're going to need your offense. One of the best ways I can relate this in an individual sense is it's a close game. Maybe you're down. Maybe you're up a little bit, but you're trying to close it out, and you call that timeout, and you're in the huddle, and someone says, hey, we need 110%. If you give me 110%, we're going to win this match. We're going to win this game. But the truth is, you don't need 110%. What we need are the people that are already doing well to maintain where they're at. And then maybe we only need 2% from everyone else. Everyone else contributes 2% more. Maybe you're not feeling well and you're giving me 60%. You know what? Give me 62%. But player A, I need you to stay where you're at. Because sometimes we try and push beyond that limit and we actually dip down. That person that was giving you 98%, 99% pushed because they want to give you more to help the team out. But now they're giving you like 80, 85% because they went too far beyond. To me, that's how it translates to this lesson. We need to know where our levels are and know this is the best that I can give at this moment. And we need to stay true to that. I can't all of a sudden become an expert at this skill or become amazing at a skill that I've never been at. You know, I'm not a three-point shooter in basketball. The game's on the line. You can't expect me just to all of a sudden give 110%, start making threes. But what I'm going to do is try to figure out how I can get closer to the basket for that layup because that's what I'm really good at. But too many times we try and become something we're not. And that's our enemy. Not maybe just the opponent or the team. The enemy is that part of our brain that says we need to do more even though we haven't worked on it. We're not good at it. Maybe we'll get lucky. And we need our normal brain to slow us down and say, wait. Let's do what we're good at and work on that. All right, I hope I didn't lose many of you on this. Let me know your thoughts. I really would love to have a discussion on this. Again, lesson 16, it's a man's own mind, not his enemy or foe, that lures him to the evil ways. And what I'm saying is, it's a lot of times our own mind that beats us, not the opponent, because we try to do too much. We try to go out of our comfort zone. We try and give 110% when that's not anywhere close to what we can give. We need to learn how to give the best we can in that moment. That may not be the same effort that you give at the end of the season, but right now, at this moment, this is the best that I can give, and that's what we have to work with. All right, subscribe, like, share. Let's get this out there and let's have a discussion. Put your thoughts in the comments. Share this. Like it, subscribe wherever that button is on YouTube. Subscribe to this so you can see them when they happen live. I would love to grow this and have more conversations and input and even debate it. I am open to discussion on all these topics that we have with Buddha and the Coach, but I would love to make this community discussion larger. All right. Peace, much love, don't suck, and I'll see you back here next week for lesson 17 of The Buddha and the Coach. And remember, you can always reach us, soulperformanceacademy.com. You can reach me directly at danmickle.com, at 717soul across all social media for soul, and at Real Dan Mickle across all social media, including TikTok. Make sure you hit me up on TikTok to get a lot of the shorts and things that we do on there that we don't do anywhere else. And questions, comments, concerns, send them my way. Have a great week, everyone, and see you next week.